Back when I was growing up, all the old folks were making dry fish. Boy, it was the best fish you could ever eat. My parents were never brought up being native, so once I found out I was a native, I said, man, I want to be what I am. I'm proud of it. I said, why be ashamed? You're Indian, you know. 34 years later, still living in Craig, I decided to move to Klawock. My first start 34 years ago. This is roughly 6 pounds of salt, and I used only half of it because I only make a 20% brine. But I do use 2 cups of brown sugar, and we dump it in the bucket right here. 4 cups of salt on all the fish. That's roughly 3 pounds. 15 gallons of water though. And for dried fish, you cut the collar off. You gotta cut the top fin off. And here's the tricky part. And you hear the backbones cutting. Right here turns rank real fast. So I just take and cut it off. I tell you, if the old timers had a knife like this, I don't know, they probably would have cut their fingers off. I want to show you. People don't realize. See these backbones? You smoke them for one day or so. Steam them, boil them. They're the best eating around. Like all the bellies I save off of them. All the bellies. Everything goes. The only thing that I don't eat is the ribs. Most of them take and dunk it for a minute, half minute into the brine, pull it out. Me, I like to drink my coffee, and back in the olden days I used to smoke cigarettes, so I'd take a cigarette break and the fish would be over brine. That's why I don't use 100. 100, I never ever used 100. I guess, but I taught myself, put them in the brine for 20 minutes. Once you put them in, the only reason why I slosh it around, see the scales on them? The scales come off. Here we go, 20 minutes from now they'll go on my stick. And then I set my sticks right here. Everyone in Klawock always used Alder, but the people down in Heidelberg they call it cottonwood. It's beech wood with everything out of it. I'm gonna grab these. I'll bring them out like this. But this ain't go away. I'm gonna lay them on the deal. I'm laying that meat down. And I'll tell you why. Is you want to try to dry the skin. But that's to keep it from spoiling. I ruined my first batch of fish because I put it the other way, skin down. And it takes that fast to turn sour. Once it's kind of dry, I flip it over, put it on new sticks. Well, it's really hard to say. Sunshiny days, it only takes hours for the skin to dry. You touch it. If it feels slimy, you don't put it on, turn it. I don't use heat in there all the time, just on muggy days. I turn it on for a while and then shut it off. You see the fish laying in there that we did, laying there flat? That's for the air to get up to the skin. Because it was kind of damp when I first put them in there, so I laid them on the racks instead of, most time I keep them on the sticks. I try not to use galvanized, but if I keep it scrubbed off and oiled, they work all right, but I try not using them. Once the skin's dry on the skins, you go about a touch, then you flop them over on the brand new sticks, smoke it for roughly 8 hours. I'm just taking 2 at a time out. Take it from the stick, put it on my V-shaped board, cut the meat off both sides of the skin. And I try to cut the bones out. Yeah, I hit a bone. That's for my ravens. Yeah. I didn't feel the bones. But I sprinkled this very little salt on them. In the way I see the Heidelberg people eat it, they eat it with butter. They melt butter and they dip it in there. And then I'd start dicing it. You gotta be real careful not to go all the way through. This one right here seems like it's the most important cut, from that corner to right there. For some reason, it seems like it works real good. See, with the 20% brine, this ain't really brined yet, so it's really dry fish. The stick's dry, so I could use it. Then I put it back in my smokehouse for 8 hours or less. And then I take and put them in my dry shed for 2 or 3 days.
You coming?
Okay.
Wow. Incredible.
But why I lay them like this, I don't care what anyone says. You keep them on the stick for 2 or 3 days, then it turns moldy and stuff on the back side. This way, the back side stays dry, see? This is a whole different texture of meat. I love it.